I can two. Yeah, here we go. We are, my friend. Perfect. Zoom. Hi. Hi, Joe. Oh, this is great. Hey. Can you hear us live? I need to turn the fan off. Fan is here as well. Okay. No, I just want to make sure hey, everybody. So this is absolutely live. I thought that I was in the meeting room, but hello. Hello. How are you? Good to see you, Sean. Doing very well. This is the OneRing.net. You guys have come to the right place at the right time. We're good on Periscope. Hello, Joe. Hello. Good to see you, Ian. This is the OneRing.net. Hello. Happy Torn Tuesday. This is our Tuesday live stream, and I don't know if you can hear me very well, but I'm going to shut the fan off over here. But this is my friend, Sean. Hello, Sean.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sean.
Sean Neal. Sean Neal is here. I'm Clifford Broadway. Hello. Good to see you, Erwana and Domio. We're all here together, and I can see you in the YouTube chat and the Periscope chat. We are live on several different formats. This is the live stream every Tuesday at 5 o'clock Pacific time for the OneRing.net, forged by and for the fans of J.R.R. Tolkien. This is your one-stop shop, your destination for all things Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and the Silmarillion. And of course, we're going into another age of Middle-earth with a new Amazon TV series. And it's going to be crazy pants, okay? I know, right? It's going to be crazy.
Crazy pants.
Crazy pantalones. Let me turn the fan off over here. Say hi to the people.
Sure. Perfect. Greetings, everyone. Beautiful. Oh, it's S-E-A-N, by the way. The Irish spelling.
Yes, and we're here broadcasting live from Los Angeles, right here in Hollywood, and we're going to get everybody in the frame. There's the Ringers poster behind me. You can't hear the fan? Okay, well, at least you can hear me okay. You guys are awesome. Thank you for that report back. And he's got your whiskey. He's got his Canadian whiskey.
Yeah.
And
Forgive me, Clan McCullen, for drinking Canadian whiskey.
Drinking some foreign whiskey. And here we go. Yes.
Hello. That's perfect thing.
We're having happy hour because this is
This is a happy hour indeed.
It's happy hour. We're starting the show. We're going to talk about some storytelling themes that are popular in fantasy in the Lord of the Rings that we recognize in Jim Henson's The Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance, because we have been binge watching this great experience, and tonight, right now, after the show, we're going to finish watching the grand finale of season 1 of the Emmy-nominated, that's right, Emmy-nominated, yes. Get that Emmy, Netflix, for Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance. But we're going to compare the journey of Frodo, the quest of Jen, the journey of Jen as it is referred to in the original 1982 film. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about storytelling that we have in common with, you know, the Lord of the Rings stories, the Middle-earth stories, and which is the planet of Arda.
That's right, Middle-earth in Norse mythology.
Midgard. So we're going to be comparing Midgard and Middle-earth to Arda. So join us for that conversation, as well as me and my buddy enjoying happy hour, and we'll be pretending that it's the, you know, Green Dragon gossip section for the entire show.
Perfect.
The entire show will be us having a bit of ale and some friendship and fellowship, Hobbit style. This is my good friend. He is a wilderness, trail-blazing wilderness guide. He's licensed to take people on boating tours and teach them how to sail their sailboats over to the Channel Islands, Santa Cruz Island, Santa Catalina Island here off the coast of California. So He is my ranger.
Yeah.
And so what I needed to do, obviously, was bring in something like my sword. But instead of my sword, it'll be my pen. And I'm going to come into the frame, and I'm going to say, what's this? A ranger caught off his guard, which is exactly what Liv Tyler says when she comes to meet her ranger, Aragorn. So this is my buddy. We call him Strider. You know, he's 6'5". and walks like Strider, like
6'7".
6'7", actually. I can, well, then I can just,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, bullocks.
Right.
It's not a. I'm full of bullocks tonight. Sorry, he's
We're all good.
he's the
We're all
Strider,
good. Yeah.
and it takes me 2 or 3 steps to match one stride of this Longshanks, as Samwise would call him. Lay off him, or I'll have you, Longshanks. So he's my Strider. He's my buddy, and he's here to talk with us. Nothing. You didn't miss anything. Welcome to the show, Arnie. We're talking with Sean. Sean Neal is my guest, and we're going to be comparing what we know and what we experience with our journeys with the Muppets and the Gelflings in the journey of Age of Resistance in Dark Crystal, and in the original film. You're familiar with the original film?
Yes, the original Dark Crystal.
Why is it we have this huge attraction to what you think, in your opinion, the hero's quest? We focus on Bilbo and him going outside of his door for his journey in the same way that we focus on Jen being taken out of his comfortable space in the Dark Crystal, and he goes on a journey to find this amazing artifact and make things happen. It's like,
that's right.
Where does this all come from? This journeying stuff.
The way the road takes you. When Bilbo says he leaves his door and the road takes you, and that's quite exactly what happens when you do leave your door. Mm-hmm. We find that in our own lives, going out and experiencing adventure. There's something addicting about that in an experience that makes you want to continue down that road. Mm-hmm.
Do you find that with the people who want to come and take these adventure hikes into the mountains and
go
to the island? Yeah.
We take people out onto the ocean, actually. Shout out to Santa Barbara Adventure Company. We do kayaking tours out at sea, and just the same as a hike in the mountains, you would have endless opportunity for adventure off the coast there. So it's incredible. But what I think really gets people about these heroic stories, these quests, is the idea of in the Dark Crystal, in particular, the idea of the many triumphing over the few. I believe we see the rule of the Skeksis and the Gelfling, of course, outnumber them as a whole population.
Yes.
And we have Rian, who is a very relatable character. We can kind of...
Played by Taron Egerton, who plays Rian.
Excellent. Yeah. Rocket Man. Excellent voice.
Excellent voice. Yes. Yes.
It's this relatable idea of little old me, who you might wake up and feel just like everyone else, call it insignificant, call it normal, whatever have you, can kind of rise to this playing field and take out these evil players on this large scale, this epic scale. And in the same way that Bilbo leaves his door, or Frodo for that matter, of course, just a hobbit, the perfect representation for someone who you might not think would be able to kind of rise to these heights and complete such epic tasks as they do, to then go forward and do that. It's definitely inspiring. It's definitely relatable. So
absolutely. As Kim said in the Facebook chat, hello Kim, we can see everybody. Thank you for joining us live. The hero's journey is so deeply ingrained for many, many thousands and thousands of years of our written and oral history. And you know, Professor Tolkien was all about oral history and reciting Beowulf in front of his class, which he was famous for. He was so famous for that. And the storytelling that has been explored and analyzed to great detail by Joseph Campbell, especially with his work on Hero with a Thousand Faces, and him sharing his analysis of the hero's journey, how it is culturally depicted across time and cultures in so many places on Earth, amongst all of us. I think Jim Henson and Frank Oz and their working team knew what they were tapping into, because they didn't want to take on the Lord of the Rings. They didn't want to take on Middle Earth with puppets. They wanted to create their own journey, but still within that revolving archetype that everybody relates to so easily. And of course, and yes, Susan is correct to point out it's the unlikely hero
Exactly.
It also draws so much attention. That's why we have such a great interest in the hobbits as the unlikely hero. And Jen doesn't even understand his destiny as the last of the Gelflings. Quick to draw to the question who said, who's your favorite Skeksis? And who's your favorite Uru, or mystics? And remember, the Uru and the Skeksis
Right.
are two halves of spiritual beings.
They are mirrors
who have been split apart.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that kind of mysticism and that kind of strange metaphysical counterbalance, which is part of the whole, thematic study.
Yeah.
That's what differentiates it from Arda, because Tolkien was not always that interested in a spiritual dichotomy between his heroes as if they had split halves amongst them.
Mm-hmm.
He did have the Oath of Feanor, where his elves would fight amongst themselves over the light of the Silmarils, and that's all in the Silmarillion.
Mm-hmm.
Tolkien had civil war among men, he had civil war among elves, but he didn't have beings that were black and white, yin and yang of each other to serve as counter.
Exactly.
Not as much as you'd think. His approach to metaphysics was about having given a grace, like a Catholic type of grace, and then losing that grace, then having to get sight of it again. And that's a lot of stuff that goes on with the elves and the struggles of the elves in the Silmarillion through the first, second, and third ages. I find that fascinating. But on the surface, more cosmetically on the surface, the plot points and mechanism points of storytelling in Tolkien were something that so strongly influenced fantasy storytellers. It's no surprise. No surprise that Jim Henson would tap into that floodgate of heroic journeying. It's a road map. I mean, what's it called? A road movie. It's a road movie, like the Muppet movie. The original Muppet movie with Fozzie and Kermit is a road trip. The Fellowship of the Ring and the Lord of the Rings is a road trip. It's a buddy road trip movie. Yeah. So, maybe it's that Jim Henson felt he had done that already. He'd already done the road trip movie. But it also happens in The Dark Crystal. The original Dark Crystal, it's a road movie. Jen gets to meet Kira, and Kira and them go on a big trip, like the Hobbits do. Mm-hmm. I'm all about this type of storytelling. And a lot of people may find it, overdone or overused, but I think it is an endless, fountain of possibilities of storytelling.
So well that can be tapped into. Yep. Again, with the archetypes, it's something that you could hit over and over and over again. Of course, we have David and Goliath. We have Odysseus and his long journey.
The ultimate journey.
Exactly.
Yeah,
these stories that have been built up over all of our time, really, of storytelling. So as long as stories have been around to have been told, we've had the story of these unlikely heroes conquering these unsurmountable odds.
Exactly.
It's definitely,
Exactly. Well, so to answer your question, who is my favorite Uru and who is my favorite Skeksis? I think my favorite Skeksis by far in this new season has been Mark Hamill voicing the scientist.
Oh, wow.
Okay?
Yeah.
Skektek, that's his name, Skektek the scientist, has been amazing and rage-filled and just so bullied. Of all the Skeksis, he's the most bullied, and Mark Hamill is amazing at that. And my favorite Uru was, I love the Archer. I love the Archer, and what happens to him in the storyline in Age of Resistance is fantastic. But in the original movie, my favorite mystic is the one who is playing the harp with all. They had two puppeteers, maybe three. They had maybe two or three puppeteers inside him playing the harp, and it was with many different arms and hands. He was playing the harp. I forget his name, but I will look him up. But he's the song crafter. He's called the Chanter. I think he's called the Chanter.
Okay.
I'm gonna look him up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look him up on Wikipedia. I'll look him up. That's my favorite Uru, the Chanter, and he's supposed to be the counterpart to the Chamberlain.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, the Chamberlain and the Chanter are two halves of each other, of Skeksis and mystics.
Perfect.
If I'm not mistaken. So yeah, they're with that.
So funny you mentioned Mark Hamill. It kind of brings me back to when you watch the Age of Resistance series with all of these newer voice actors, all this new talent. What's incredible to me is when I was first watching it through. Of course, I still have to finish these two final episodes. But
I'm really looking forward to that. Looking forward to
it's happening.
The grand finale.
It's going to be great.
It's so good.
But one of the most interesting things to me is
yes, Kim, you're right. Agra is the best. My ultimate favorite character.
I could get Mother Agra.
I could never. Agra is the best ever.
Her third eye is beaming. She's out in the realm.
She is connected to the super consciousness.
Yeah.
She is the goddess mother energy of Thra. She is like a living energy of an earth goddess.
She's the crone.
It's amazing. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, she's more like mother, maiden, and crone.
She's all
in one. She is. Like all three aspects of that energy. That's amazing. Go ahead. I interrupted him.
Oh no.
Sorry.
What was I even talking about? The voice talent. What's insane, and we obviously already mentioned Taron Egerton. Just the incredible talent of these voice actors, and the fact that I, for example, had no clue that some of these people were voicing these characters. When you go through the credits and you kind of see all these names come up, and it's really shocking to see what some of these actors have done in terms of performance, especially with the Skeksis. That's pretty fun.
Indeed,
pretty fun stuff they're doing.
We're finding here on the YouTube chat. Hi, Princess Toy Nerd. Good to see you. There's Thomas. Good to see you, Thomas. Did you see the footage of Gollum? He's asking. Spartan. Hello, Spartan 343. If the scientist's pet gets harmed or dies, the fandom riots. Yeah, the scientist Skek Tech has his little special pet who is temporarily squeezed and threatened by the Emperor, who is played by Jason Isaacs, brilliantly played by Jason Isaacs.
Yeah.
Lucius Malfoy. Oh my God, that's Jason Isaacs. He's amazing as Skekso, the Emperor. My favorite vocal performance might be Aquafina. Aquafina as the Collector.
That's right.
The Collector.
That's right.
Oh my God, she's crazy.
She does a great job.
She's crazy.
Yeah, pretty
with
much
all those gross pus things oozing out of her face all the time, like gooey, dripping, nasty things.
She's got that nasally. It's perfect.
And she's like,
she's got a great voice.
What is her name? The Collector. I have to look this up. But the characters that we have in Age of Resistance, which deservedly is Emmy nominated, some of the things that happen directly reflect Gandalf or Frodo or some Aragorn type characters. There are some analogies that I would like to point out. Okay?
Sure, please.
Some of them I cannot point out because you haven't seen the finale yet. So there's no spoilers. I'm not gonna ruin it for my friends. I'm not gonna ruin it.
You better not.
I swear to God, I'm not gonna ruin it. But I think that there's an Aragorn type of analogy with Rian, because Rian wants to, like a ranger. He's like a captain.
Oh yeah.
His dad is captain of the guard. Like Aragorn's dad was a captain of the Rangers of the North.
There's expectation of him in that role.
There's expectation of direct lineage.
Yeah.
Rian has to suddenly go into hiding and hide his name because everyone, and like Aragorn has a fake name, which is Strider. Actually, Aragorn has almost a dozen aliases, including Telcontar, or eventually he's King Elisar. He's obviously called Strider to hide his real name. When he was a little boy, he was called Estelle. He had all these pseudonyms to hide his identity. So Rian also has to hide his identity at first, and then he has to come in and find a broken weapon and forge the weapon back together. And that is the dual glaive, being really much more directly analogous to Narsil, which is reforged into Anduril. Yeah, Anduril.
Flame of the West.
Say it again for those at home.
The Flame of the West.
One more time.
That's right. Anduril, the Flame of the West.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it. That's how you do it.
In Hugo Weaving's voice, of course.
Yeah. Totally. Okay, so have I seen the new Gollum game trailer? Hey, Repugnant Mama. Nice to see you. I have not seen the new Gollum game trailer. No, wait, I did. But it was like a few weeks ago. I think I did see the Gollum game trailer. Did you?
I have not.
It's really fun.
Gollum
Really
game.
fun. Yeah, there's a new Gollum game.
You run around as Gollum.
Yeah.
Wow.
You run around as Gollum, and I believe it's like a puzzle-solving, like sneak thief type of game.
Yeah.
And who's a better sneak thief than Gollum, right?
Exactly.
It's going to be really, really good.
No better.
Spartan343 says Aughra is Thra, a manifestation of it, an attempt by Thra to learn about itself and understand its own existence and place in the cosmos. That is brilliantly said.
That's so spiritual.
Mind blown.
That's perfect.
Perfectly said, Spartan343. That's excellent.
That's really nice.
I think the new Gollum game is going to be really interesting because it's puzzle. If it's truly not combat, because no one's going to use Smeagol Gollum for single-hand combat.
Not really.
And no one wants a third-person shooter with Gollum. No, if it's a puzzle-solving game, which involves sneaking and running and doing all that stuff,
crawling about.
Yeah, then I think it would be much more successful because of its format. I do. I think it'd be just fine.
I'm down for a Gollum game. I could be Gollum, play as that character.
It sounds so cool.
Endless opportunities, kind of.
It does sound good.
You know, caves and the depths of the misty mountains.
Imagine Gollum still just running around trying to escape from Mordor, where he's held captive.
Yeah.
Now, we're not going to expect any of this. There is no Gollum character in the Amazon TV series because their series is set thousands and thousands of years before the Third Age. So this is what I'm going to ask you, all right? My friend Sean has only seen little bits of news, not much.
Of the releases.
So let's shift gears, okay? Now we're already here at like 5:30. We're halfway through our show.
Oh.
Let's switch. I know that's a quick half hour.
That flew by.
We had these great conversations, and thank you for joining us live on theonering.net. Again, follow us and hit subscribe. If you're on YouTube, hit like. Thank you. Please like the video and hit subscribe and get notifications so you get with our new live stream every Tuesday. You can come in and talk with us live. I'm so excited about this. That breeze is coming through. It feels great. You feel that? Yeah.
Came right in.
It had been 99 degrees a couple of days ago. It was so miserable and hot here. Leah Marie Peterson says, I've been gone for several weeks, so maybe you've answered this question. Oh, and then where'd it go? I can't see it now.
There's no way to.
All right, you have to repost that.
It's gone forever.
What's the question? Repost the question, Leah.
Well, it says you probably answered.
I don't know. Maybe I have answered it. But he doesn't know much about the Amazon TV series. And some of the members of the audience who are joining us, welcome to theonering.net. My name is Clifford Broadway. You can follow me online on Instagram and Twitter at QuickBeam2000. We're going to talk about what we know and don't know and see if we can encapsulate this for a new audience member.
Perfect.
Amazon Studios spent a lot of money on the license to do this show, okay? And you've heard about that.
Of course.
It's baking in the oven.
I've definitely heard they're doing it. They're going for it. Yeah.
They were shut down for a little while because of COVID-19, but then they reopened production in New Zealand because New Zealand was able to stamp out their infection rate and positivity rate for COVID-19.
Good on them.
Yeah, so they're back in the saddle, and they are in production right now. Okay, Irawana is mentioning Robert Aramayo. Yes.
Right.
You've heard about that?
Young Eddard.
Young Eddard. Okay, so what do you know? What have you heard about it?
Well, so I know that young Eddard is in the series. I did see something you were broadcasting a little while ago.
A few months ago?
Yeah, so you were going over the different castings, looking at each of these actors and kind of trying to guess almost or gauge who would be playing what, of course, what races. We have, it's set in Numenor, and that opens up a lot more diversity.
Yes.
If I'm correct.
Numenor, huh? So you've heard it's set in ancient Numenor?
Right. Ancient Numenor. Yeah. Quite some time ago.
A long time ago.
In a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah. Arda,
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
planet of Arda. And this is when Arda was still flat. This is when Arda was still like a level field, like Midgard.
Right.
This is before the world was made round.
A very long ago then.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
very long ago.
Yeah.
All right,
Very
so, oh yeah, hey, Iruana Undomio, what if Rian is Jen's ancestor? I'm willing to believe it. I'm willing to believe that there's a bloodline between Jen and Rian on Dark Crystal Age of Resistance. I'm very willing to believe that. Aren't you?
How could there not be?
Yeah, we're jumping back and forth between.
Too good to be.
Yeah,
we're
I'm totally down for that. So let's do this. Okay. They are filming down there. It's going to be thousands of years before hobbits are there in the Third Age, before there are wizards appearing on the shores, because they appeared. Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. The wizards only appeared in the Third Age right about the year 1000. Okay. So let's imagine that the wizards appeared in Middle Earth 1,000 years after the complete conclusion of the entire Amazon series. Even if it's on the air for 5 or 7 seasons, after that show closes, and it closes its doors on the Second Age, and it might end with the destruction, the complete cataclysm that took Numenor under the waves, like Atlantis.
Yeah.
Because it is the Atlantis thing in that analogous world. Imagine that there are no wizards in that world until 1,000 years after the end of the show. So we know that if they start bringing wizards in early, if there's any mention of wizards in the Second Age, then we know that they're starting to play fast and loose with the timeline of Arda, because there are no hobbits or wizards in the Second Age. So I'm telling you now, do not anticipate that. What do you feel about that?
Sorry to any fans of hobbits, of course. I mean, that's got to be one thing. But of course,
it's their chosen timetable.
Yeah,
they're set that far back in time.
And so, like we were kind of just touching on, is that it does open up the opportunity for so much more in terms of different characters, different races, almost. Yeah, and so it really kind of, it just opens the door to a whole new world of potential. Yeah.
Don't you dare close your eyes. He said a whole new world, and I had to say it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to.
We're on a whole now, like a Disney
doing the magic carpet ride
trajectory here.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. I apologize to my audience. Okay.
Sure.
So someone said the Blue Wizards in conversation in the YouTube chat. No, I've got it here. I've got it here on this screen. Okay. All right. The Blue Wizards might show up. Okay. Daniel, I appreciate this granular attention to detail, because as a very well-informed fan base, yes, thank you for bringing that to the discussion. Daniel, it is just as likely that they might tap into some draft material that Tolkien did not finish or publish. There's some drafts that show up in the History of Middle-earth series, which is a big and heavy exploration of other manuscripts that Tolkien never completed to his satisfaction and got published when he was alive. But his son Christopher looks at some of these details, and Daniel says in the YouTube chat that the Blue Wizards might show up. One draft, Tolkien said they showed up in the Second Age, and that was but it's also just as likely that they don't. I don't know. I mean, we don't know until we get there. But all things being equal, we need to remind the audience that the Tolkien estate has a final veto power on submitted stories. So
it's kind of a safety net in a way. We can trust that almost final seal of approval is going to be there.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. As long as we can get a better understanding of who or whom at the Tolkien estate is behind the wheel. That's something we don't even know yet. Now Arden says the island of Numenor itself may relate to the lost island of Atlantis. Who do the Knights of Numenor? I wish I could read this entire. See the chat.
I know.
The chat is in such a large font. I wish that I could see it.
They're a little.
I'm going to open up this. Is it? Yeah, let me press that button and see if we can get the chat open here. Let's see if it opens up. Looks like it's struggling. Hi there. There we are. Start a conversation. Okay.
It's not.
Yeah, no, that
doesn't look very promising.
No, I'm with you guys now on the restream.
Mm-hmm.
The restream is giving me both the Facebook and the Periscope and the Twitter and the YouTube feed all at the same time. However, the text is so huge, it's just I can't see more than one small sentence at a time. Oh well, whatever. The variant form of Numenor in Elvish, the variant form is Atalante.
Oh, wow. That sounds a lot like another word.
Atalante.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Very cool.
Now, hello, Sarah. Nice to see you, Sarah. We don't know who is running the Tolkien estate right now. Well, specifically, Christopher Tolkien had retired from his position as head of the Tolkien estate and making those decisions. And then, very sadly, half a year or less later on, he passed away. And he left this earth in January of this year.
Wow.
Actually. So
right. Yeah.
it was very sad. Tip of the hat to
Christopher.
And in the YouTube chat, RNA says, we're trying to get all of your comments in the chat, but
It came back around.
Yeah, let me see here. The Knights of Numenor, excuse me, are split. There is a dichotomy that's worth mentioning, in that in the story of Numenor, some of them remain faithful to the Valar, and many of them do not remain faithful and are corrupted by Sauron. But even Sauron's appearance to corrupt the king of Numenor might not happen until the third or fourth or fifth season, going years and years from now. We really don't know where they're going to start the timeline, but I'm assuming that they're going to start the show before Sauron is taken captive to Numenor, before the forging of the Rings of Power.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to spend a lot of time with meeting Celebrimbor and other elves, like I think Robert Aramayo is going to play the young Elrond. Elrond half-elven.
Right.
And speaking of, let me show him this because I haven't shown him this. Would you like to see the diverse cast of the show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here it is. All right. I'm going to go. RNA says the island of Numenor itself may relate to the lost island Atlantis. Who do the Knights of Numenor relate to in the same delved way the Knights of Rohan relate to the Vikings or the Saxons of Beowulf? Intriguing. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. The Rohirrim people are representing Tolkien's loose connection to the Saxons and the Northmen. Yeah, they do. Which is like your genotype. This is his total.
Almost.
Look at his total. Pull that hair down. Show everybody how Rohirrim he really is.
Should we
Yeah.
let it out here?
Yeah, totally. This guy is totally the Viking Rohirrim. Oh my God, ladies.
There it is.
There is, ladies.
Eomer.
He's the total Eomer. But when your hair is up like that, you're a ranger of the north. When you pull, that's totally Rohan.
Exactly.
Okay, totally that.
Warrior,
crazy.
Warrior bun there.
It's funny. It's really very funny. So hello Jorge, nice to see you. The Vikings connected to Saxons, connected to Rohirrim, all those loose connections are there. But to re-explore how the Numenorians are connected, it might be better to go back to the metaphysical conversation, because the metaphysics are on display in how some of them, as Numenorians, choose to stay faithful, and some of them are not faithful to the Valar. So the reason why that is so funny, odd, is because it takes a departure from just what Plato described as his myth of Atlantis. and it becomes completely unique to Tolkien's storytelling and his metaphysics that he's worked so hard to build within the stories of the Silmarillion. And that leads us to another speculation that we have had, um, which is we don't know how much of the books they have licensed as part of a $500 million license.
That's an important question.
If they're going to tell the story of um, Numenor, where did they get it from? Is it just from the appendix in the back of the Return of the King, or we have been speculating that they may have added or expanded their expensive license to include the Akallabeth, which is the final chapters of the Silmarillion. And if they license the Akallabeth, then we're going to, get all of that storytelling from that story of in much, much more great detail that Tolkien had posthumously published by his son Christopher. And I hope that they have that. But in terms of showing you the diverse cast, this is his first time looking at. I'm going to show you the Instagram feed. Let me type that in. Lord of the Rings. It's LOTR on Prime, which is follow. If you want to follow Amazon Studios on their Instagram, it's also on Twitter. It's LOTR on Prime. If you want to follow that. So
here's Robert Aramayo.
There's Robert Aramayo.
Young Eddard.
Eddard, and
Definitely recognize him.
None of these actors that you're looking at, these actresses and actors, and all of their interesting diversity, none of them have yet been announced or connected to a real character that we know. So we are still in the realm of speculation, actually.
Yeah, a little bit of the guessing
Still in the realm of
game
speculation
going on. Which was that cast that I previously saw, where we're kind of trying to pin these characters and their likenesses.
We don't even know. I mean,
their ethnic looks in terms of characters in the world.
And within this world, at this point in the story, there are so many places that the Numenorians travel during their many, many voyages around Arda. And Arda is still flat at this point in the story. All right, and here's Hab's father. Nice to see you, Hab's father. Welcome to Periscope. You guys are joining us on Torn Tuesday on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, live. You are live. Thank you for joining us. And the question was, when is Lord of the Rings show coming out on Amazon Prime? We do not know yet. We don't know exactly when it's coming out yet, but they're actively in production in New Zealand right now, actively filming in New Zealand. So what do you think of these actors and actresses?
I think it's a great look. Diverse is definitely the word. That's something that you kind of mentioned before.
One of the other Game of Thrones actors is also cast. Uncle Benjen.
Benjen Stark.
Yes, Benjen Stark. Not quite a White Walker, but not quite a living human.
Kind of halfway between.
Somewhere.
Kind of stop there. Somewhere along the line.
Don't know, because the metaphysics of Game of Thrones is not something that I'm an expert on. I cannot quite figure everything out, although I have a larger canvas of understanding. But yeah. So here, back to Jocelyn Carter.
Sure.
Wasn't Gandalf in existence at the time? Nope. Gandalf was not in existence during the time of Numenor, and not during the time of Celebrimbor, during the forging of the rings. Gandalf did not appear until 1,000 years into the Third Age, long after the Second Age was over. And again, I have to say, we're still in the realm of speculation. We don't know at what time period within a massive timeline they might offer up the framework of the story. For example, you talk about Age of Resistance. Like for the first half of this show, we were talking about the Dark Crystal, and they very specifically put that story about 100 years prior to the 1982 film. But here in this timeline, there's only a vague reference to the Second Age, and it is such a vague, large chronological space. It could be anywhere. And if they do, flashbacks into time, they could begin like in the later 2/3 of the Second Age, and then do ancient callbacks to thousands of years before.
It could be even farther back.
But still,
Yeah.
we do not know for sure. But appropriately, going on the books, just on the appendix in the back of Return of the King, and in the Silmarillion, maybe if they licensed some of that, if they go with what is published, there are no Istari, there are no wizards of any kind at this point in Amazon's story. And if they do drop those characters in there, then surprise, then who knows what they're going to do. At that point, all bets are off. All bets are off. I don't know what they're going to do.
Some liberties taken. Yeah.
Well, what do you think? I mean, they've got all the money in the world. They could do anything they want.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of think about the way people reacted to the Hobbit films in terms of
okay, that's fair.
Adding in characters and things like that, taking those liberties. But yeah, of course, it's interesting with the whole timeline question. As far back as they want to go is kind of how much room they're going to give themselves to work with in terms of progressing a story from there.
Yes.
Of course, we are talking about thousands of years.
Many thousands of years.
And I kind of asked myself the same questions about the Game of Thrones prequel series. Where are they going to choose to kind of jump back to with those? Again, we're kind of jumping over to that franchise, but it is definitely a similar idea in the whole prequel world. So,
well, the news could have gone either way with their prequel series. This is not even considered a prequel series, but The Hobbit had the unfortunate label slapped on it of being, it's like episode 1, 2, and 3
like
of Star Wars
prequel.
Everyone's like, you're going back in time instead of doing a regular sequel. You know, hey, there's Chris Saint. Hello, good to see you, Mr. Chris Saint, on Twitch. Oh my God, wait a minute. Not only are we live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Periscope, and Twitter, we are live on Twitch as well. Great to have you guys here. And follow Chris Saint. He's one of the best tattoo artists in Los Angeles. And he's a good friend of the channel. He's been a longtime friend of the OneRing.net for many years. Yes, longtime viewer, first-time caller. Get out of here, buddy. You're so funny. Hello, Natalie. Nice to see you too, Natalie. It's nice to see Jorge. I hope you're having a good afternoon. Jorge, out there. Spartan323 says, I would like to think if the Istari were in Numenor or around then, they would have realized who Anatar was. Yeah, if they had been around at that time, they probably would have foiled Sauron's plot. Probably would have foiled it completely. And what needs to happen is you need to have Numenor destroyed by its own rise to ultimate power, its own bloated arrogance, its own bloated self-importance. It's that very familiar trope of storytelling where Professor Tolkien is describing, just as Plato described centuries ago, the overdevelopment and the over-arrogance of a great empire that crumbles from within. And therefore, it might be a perfect cautionary tale for, some of the great political powers that are on stage in the real world today, as that type of storytelling plays into our, relative, as Tolkien called it, it was applicability. It's not analogy that he was interested in. It was applicability. So, I'm not the least bit surprised that the writers at Amazon have chosen a story frame like this to see what is it like for a great empire to rise and then fall. And its own spiritual failing is what it's all about. It's all about that. And if Sauron has anything to do with it, he was there to corrupt the spirits of men, especially the powerful Numenorians that he was so jealous of and fearful of. Sauron was fearful of their power. And I'm going to be fascinated by whatever they do with this. I know it's going to be fascinating, good or bad, but let me remind everyone, fidelity to Tolkien is our hashtag. We use that hashtag We talk about it on the show all the time. Fidelity to Tolkien and the metaphysical tug of war that's going on in Numenor, that better be what backs up the writer's room. If the writers of the show are giving us a bunch of other guff, like, dragons that aren't there and wizards that aren't there and
Right.
a bunch of junk that's just flying around that's not there.
Flashy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't go for big, obvious, crappy stuff in the show when you're going to give us a much more satisfying turn of events if you stick with Tolkien's original. Yeah, that's it. It's fidelity to Tolkien that is going to be your best interest. I'm speaking to you now, writers at Amazon and producers at the Amazon series. It is to your best interest to give us, the fandom, what we're expecting, which is the power of Tolkien. It's already in there. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Don't fix it. Exactly.
Don't you think?
Exactly.
Right?
Don't meddle with something so sacred, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got everything you need in there already. What do you think?
I think you said it. You said it all, man. That was. I can't really put it any better than that.
Well, what do you want? I mean, what happened with Game of Thrones? Because Game of Thrones ended up going astray, and the fandom reacted, right? Because I'm the biggest fan up to a point, and then I was like,
Yeah, I mean, oh man, we could have a whole other hour to talk about the Game of Thrones trajectory.
They're in danger of having all this money and all this time, and they're in danger of either keeping with the books or not. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, keeping with the books or not, and kind of swaying to public opinion.
What do you think the public wants most?
Well, that's the question. There's the public outside of the immediate fandom. I think that they have the danger of trying to please too much. Obviously, everyone's trying to get top of the list on Netflix, for example, these days, and so I feel like it's almost too easy for these studios to rush in and try and make something that's going to satisfy the overall masses, and almost leave hanging those who
the fandom.
Exactly.
The ringers.
Exactly. The ringers. Yeah.
The ringers. The ringers.
The ringers.
The ringers. The ringers. Lord of the Fans, because we are Lord of the Fans. Okay. Well, I'm telling you, Natalie says small extrapolations will work, but keep mainly within the canon. Well, they're doing it with The Mandalorian. All right, we've got everything is lining up in this synergistic space. People are looking at these other new stories, new storytelling, which is being planted in the familiar of an intellectual property that they already know and love. And with the wizarding world of Harry Potter, you're getting mixed results of these new movies that are planted in the world of the books that people know and love. Compare it to, The Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance.
Exactly.
Setting a wonderful new prequel series in a beloved established world. And then you've got Game of Thrones. All of these are concurrent in my mind, and I would like them all to be concurrent in our conversation, because you can look at which ones succeeded and which ones, screwed the pooch. Look at
fell on their face.
Yeah. I mean, the Age of Resistance is nominated for Emmy Awards just as much as the 8th and final season of Game of Thrones. But out of those two seasons, which one was better and had fidelity to the original world?
That's right. A proper installment, if you will.
Not Game of Thrones, season 8. No.
As hard as that is to say. As hard as that is
it's not.
To say. Yeah.
Game of Thrones, season 8, did not succeed at the same way that Age of Resistance, season 1, stuck to fidelity to Jim Henson's world. And that is why it was more beloved and more successful.
Exactly.
So there's your litmus test. Plain as day. That's your litmus test, Amazon. Compare the fan reaction to Game of Thrones and the fan reaction to Wizarding World, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, which is kind of lukewarm to middling. And then compare that to the way, compare it to the way fans responded to Age of Resistance. Just saying. I don't know. I'll leave it I'll leave it to you.
Age of Resistance. So good.
So what do you want to see? You're the public as well. What would you want to see that would make you want to do a subscription and subscribe to Amazon Prime so you would watch this show? Tell the folks at home what you want to see.
So I just want to see, and this is for everybody too, I think we all want to see something that doesn't seem too much like the Hollywood people pleaser kind of vibe that we've been seeing recently with some of these installments. Again, where it's just a room of people kind of leaving out these vital inclusions for more so the sake of mass approval almost as a series in general. Because again, even though it might be a sacred installment to these worlds, they're going up there and trying to, you know, best these other series that are coming out. And when that's your goal, when that's what you're trying to go for throughout the process, it's going to show. And that's the reason the later Game of Thrones seasons came off as a little rushed. Of course, we could say more about that, but it's just the vibe of trying to please trying to please everybody in a way that isn't so necessary. I don't know. People call it a try hard when you're being a try hard. I've heard that before.
Yeah, you're being a try hard. Yeah.
When you're trying too hard, almost when it's not quite, and you just foil it. You just kind of botch it, for lack of a better term. I don't know. Yeah, it's botch. So please don't botch it.
The Mandalorian is successful, and everyone has taken such a shine to it because it, and if you watch any of that extra, you know, gallery series, which is all the behind the scenes episodes they have on Disney Plus, the Mandalorian is successful because of fidelity to Star Wars. Age of Resistance is successful because, come along with me now, fidelity to Jim Henson.
Jim Henson's universe.
Yes, that's why it's working. Okay, so if you guys keep fidelity to Tolkien in mind, that's pretty much where we're sitting as a fandom. It is not unreasonable. It is not an unreasonable position.
And it's not hard to do either.
For a fandom to actually say, have some fidelity to the source. That is not weird. That is not toxic fandom. It is basically the conversation we had 20 odd years ago with Peter Jackson, with this unknown, untested zombie movie director who was literally taking a lawnmower to a living room full of zombies and splattering the walls with 80 million gallons of blood and splatter. And then all of a sudden we're going to give him the Lord of the Rings. And we didn't know what to expect, but we told him the same thing. We said fidelity to Tolkien was what mattered most.
To the books at that point.
That's what mattered most. Yeah. And that's why people love what he did up to a certain point. And then when Faramir turns into an ass and drags Frodo and Sam as prisoner unwillingly all the way to Osgiliath, that's when people start pulling their hair out.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
These little tiny things. They of course add up.
I think the thing for George R.R. Martin is that he gets to finish writing his books. And he can finish his story damn well how he pleases to finish, to wipe away the flavor in our mouth from the season 8 of Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah, exactly. There can't be fidelity to content that doesn't exist yet. And
okay, well that's fair too, I guess.
Kind of it's kind of the other thing.
But didn't you know, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss had this guy working for them, you know, and he's the guy who's now working for Amazon, working on the Lord of the Rings series, the Second Age of Middle-earth. Yes, that's right. The third head of the dragon from Game of Thrones is now working as a consulting producer guy. I forget his name at the moment. I know it. I obviously know it. It's Mark something. Forgive me. Anyways.
Mark Hamill.
No, it's the other guy. So here we are. We're at the end of our show. It's 6 o'clock. That was an amazing hour. Of conversation. All right, we're gonna say goodbye.
What is an hour?
What did the Earth turn around the sun or not?
I think we had
I'm amazed at
a
this.
slight rotation. Yeah.
That's it. Thank you, Daniel. It's Brian Cogman.
Okay. Not
Brian
Mark.
Cogman. Okay, so there is a genetic connection that is like a hereditary connection. So if the writers and the producers are taking some of their other existing work, like one of them was a writer on Hannibal on NBC, great writers on Hannibal, and some people like Brian Cogman worked on Game of Thrones, and we have all these people who have other pedigrees with big television series, and they're bringing some of their DNA to this Lord of the Rings project. So it's worth mentioning, at least in that regard. Thank you for reminding me of his name. All right.
Much to look forward to.
Okay, and Iriwana and Domiel says that The Last Kingdom, highly recommended.
Yes.
Highly recommended. The Last Kingdom.
Yes.
A lot of my friends told me that was good. Did you see that?
I'm right at the point of starting it.
Do you want to start?
Of what?
Not until we watch. We got
Maybe, yeah, we first got to finish first order of business.
First, we got to do a finale
Phenomenal.
for Age of Resistance.
Age of Resistance.
And yes, Tammy. Hello, Tammy, in Facebook. Okay, Green Dragon Gossip. This is going to be where we end our show at the very end of the show, and I'm going to leave you with another piece of gossip, and I'm going to do it week after week after week until we get more information from our spies. Guess what rumors we've been hearing? Okay, here you go.
Tell us.
Here's my empty bottle. Cheers.
Not so empty.
He's got a little bit of Canadian single malt. I don't know what. No, it's blended whiskey, I'm sure.
Pendleton.
What? Yeah.
That
Okay.
means.
I hope it's good. Here's what. Let's talk about this. Gossip from the Green Dragon Inn is that Russell Crowe from Gladiator, Oscar winner from A Beautiful Mind. All right, Oscar winner Russell Crowe is in New Zealand, and he's filming something. We don't know if he's filming with James Cameron and his Avatar movies, or whether he's filming in Middle Earth. But that's our big rumor. Yes.
I mean, either would be phenomenal. That would be insane.
No, I want Russell Crowe to be a powerful Numenorian king. That's what I want.
I like it.
And we need to put this in the rumor mill and let it grind around. What do you think? Would you be down for that?
Maybe he's in both. I don't know. That would be a little strange, a little hard to pull off.
I'm serious.
You never know.
Serious.
He could be.
You're right, Jocelyn. Jocelyn says if they stick to the original story, it will help potential new fans understand why regular fans love Lord of the Rings so much.
So true.
Yes.
So true.
And yes,
Bring them in.
Russell Crowe.
Bring them in.
Russell Crowe has been growing long hair as long as yours, and he's got the facial hair, he's got the beard.
Okay.
Hey, casting people, all you New Zealand casting people, hey, talk to my buddy.
All right.
He's my buddy.
You can call my agent.
If only Squid could let you go for a couple of years.
Oh.
That you have to move away.
Hey, Squid. Yeah.
Hey, Squid.
It's almost a year. It's almost a year since I met you and the gang at Wasteland.
Almost a year since we've known each other at Scum and Villainy Cantina.
Yeah.
But look, seriously. Yeah. Hey, Anthony Head. That's a great casting. I like that. Russell Crowe as a Numenorian king. That's the rumor, and it is not so far off. It is not really outside of the wheelhouse of possibility because of the way they've made him grow a beard and grow his hair, and the fact that he's in New Zealand on a super secret project. Well, I'll just leave that right there. There it is. Right there.
It's pretty obvious at this point.
You guys take it. Take that rumor and run with it. Right there. I'm going to leave it there for you.
Yeah.
Take that rumor and run.
Super secret.
Okay? I'm down. I'm down for him to be a powerful Numenorian lord who actually has to deal with kidnapping Sauron as Anatar and bringing him captive to Numenor. I'm so down for that. That's going to be wicked, wicked, wicked cool. It's going to be really, really cool.
Big time stuff. It's big.
Seriously, it's funny. Well, I'm glad that Jorge is enjoying the show. I want to give a big shout out to my boyfriend. Hello, Jorge. I love you, brother. Love you very much. It's good to see you. And a big shout out to the whole audience of Lord of the Rings universe who has joined us. All the fandom. This is quite a fellowship. That's why they call it a ship. You know, the new term for the more newish term is we are a ship. And this ship is sailing to the second age of Middle Earth. And thank you guys for being with us. It is a
Yes.
I love this ship so much. I love you. You're the best audience, and you're a great um, uh, energy ball of creativity and energy. And I think your questions and your insights are always appreciated. Thank you for bringing it. Thank you for being, and you, thank you,
Sure.
you know, for being part of the show.
Man, you're the captain of this ship.
Not really, no.
Thank you for.
Actually, the captain of the ship is the Spanish director J.A. Bayona. He is the captain of the ship. He's down there directing. He's the true captain, making the first 2 episodes. They're working right now. He's the guy who worked on A Monster Calls with Liam Neeson.
Oh, such a good.
You know that movie?
Piece. Yeah.
Yes. He also directed the tsunami disaster survival film with Naomi Watts and Ewan McGregor. He directed that
The
film
Impossible?
too. Yeah.
Tragic story.
What a movie. I mean, that's J.A. Bayona. He's awesome. And let's see what they're doing down there. Not
Pope.
the Pope.
Whoa.
The Hierophant. No, don't.
There we go.
Don't ever call me the Pope. But in terms of tarot,
shaman.
in terms of the shaman, yeah, I'll take the shaman,
Yeah.
or I'll take that. I'll take it.
Humbly.
All right, you guys are awesome. Thank you very much for being an incredibly good audience. We will follow up with you next Tuesday, live right here on Torn Tuesday. Follow us at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, Twitch, and more as The One Ring Net. Okay? At The One Ring Net.
Yeah.
Thank you for the YouTube people who hit subscribe and like. We love you guys. I'm online at QuickBeam2000. And Liam Neeson for Ellen Deal. I'm down for that. I'm down for Qui-Gon Jinn to be in Middle Earth. That would be amaze balls. That would be amaze balls.
Aslan.
Oh yeah.
Aslan.
Oh my God, dude, that would be so good. Okay.
Sick.
Till next meeting. Thank you, Spartan, and everybody. Take good care of yourselves. And remember, #Heroes Wear Masks. That our friend Tom DeSanto helped us learn about. That movement for us to remember. You know, keep yourself safe. We're almost through this. All right, we're going to get through this. And I'm going to take my hat off as a special thank you to the firefighters and the emergency responders here in my home state of California who are struggling so far and through so much to deal with the terrible lightning fires, the complex fires that are up there in the Bay Area. And to our friends who had to evacuate, our friends Kelly Rice and the Rice family from Happy Hobbit. Did you know they had to evacuate? Yeah, our friends who are Torn staff working with us on the OneRing.net, they had to evacuate their home because of the fires. So we send our love out to the Rice family and hope all the farm animals are safe too. And we love you guys very much. Stay safe, and you guys be good to yourselves. Until next week, buenas noches y buena suerte. Good night and good luck. Thank you, everyone.
All right.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure, man.